Hey guys, been a while since I did this, and I hope you can hear me okay. I think everything's working well. So I didn't give much notice because I thought it was better that way, less likelihood of some of the weird traffic that I get on this channel, and we all know why. So I wanted to also, there was a gap in having an actual update. So we've gotten a reply from YouTube and Google to my supportive brief, and I showed you guys a video about that a while back. It's my case law that I came up with, some of it very good, especially the last two cases. And this is the most biting tone they've had toward me in any document. The first 2 pages just made me shut my computer and walk away. And of course, it's also so dishonest that, it's unreal. But I'll show you a little bit of that. I won't go through the whole thing. I'm going to draft a reply to their reply. Because of the way the court rules are, you don't always get a chance to do that and submit it to the court. I'll have to call and find out. It's not on their website, but you can, of course, draft your counter arguments to present in court. So I'll be doing that. And I'll make a little video in more detail about all of that for you. But I'll just show you the gist of it, because the first part would make anybody that knows about this case angry. So there's that, and then just a few other things I wanted to touch on. So let me share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. And here we go. Present. Share my screen. And I'm not sure which one it is. Let me double check. I think it's not that one. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. So this is the most disgusting of all. Here's, of course, just let me show you what it is. So it's their response to my supplemental brief. And good on them for finally correcting when I actually filed the case. They put 16th. They've had the 14th, so they didn't even get that right for multiple documents. But anyway, here we are reading them saying, of course, that I filed the supplemental brief. My belated attempt to cure my deficient pleading fails. Yeah, we'll see about that. The judge didn't think so. He didn't dismiss it, did he? So anyway, petitioner has not and cannot establish I'm entitled to bring a claim under CCP section 1085. That's a mandamus action. All her claims are barred by section 230. No, they're not. And I've failed to state facts sufficient to support a claim. No. Rather than engaging with the threshold requirements required for the extraordinary relief she seeks, petitioner now cites irrelevant case law to argue the court should grant her petition and compel the Google respondents to remove the 2 YouTube accounts she complains of based on her conclusory speculations about their conduct off of YouTube. Wow. This just made me take pause and reread that like 3 times. My conclusory speculations about Goatis Lactions and Marina Abdullah about their conduct off of YouTube. Gosh, well, Goatis Lactions was Sferia, and he did all kinds of things on YouTube. Goatis Lactions is Goatis, and his Sferia channel was banned already. And what he was doing amounted not just to community guidelines violations, but to crime. So a serious crime, too, including against children. And then we have him now as Goatis on his live stream April of 2023, talking about buying children to rape, which you can't do on YouTube. He also provides links to Telegram where you can get your incest on. You can't do that also. So that's current crime on YouTube. He also commits scams where he is lying and slandering and committing libel against Diane, his victim. They're intimidating the victim of a crime repeatedly online and raising funds for something other than what the stated reason is. So in a scam likely to commit crime. There's all kinds of law related to that. Terroristic crime against a child, on and on I could go. This is conduct on YouTube. So this is disgusting, and the whole thing is disgusting. And I will make a video in the future about that. So let me stop sharing my screen and see what's going on in the chat. Let me get back over there. Okay. Nothing's going, oh, in the stream. Am I streaming or what? Starting soon. Oh, that's my comment. Okay. So that's what's going on with that. And then they go through the case law that I have. And I do want to show you something about the case law. So one more boring thing to present to you. It's not boring to me, but some folks find it boring. But it's actually really important. And I do want everybody to have an opportunity to understand it. So let me see which one this is. and all video, but they attack, of course, all of my case law, some of it very improperly. Some of these cases are under appeal, so they'll say that they'll refer to the first ruling, which is under appeal now. But these two cases, Doe versus MySpace, where the tech companies are supposed to report any threats to a child's life, including terroristic threats to the appropriate authorities. That's one case where it's determined that they have a duty. That's very important because, like they're saying, I can't bring a mandamus action because I can't say they have a duty. Here's a case where a tech company has a duty when we're talking about terroristic threats against children. Now, they'll pretend Goatis isn't Sverige so they can get around this. And then I'm saying that they're saying this case emphasized the responsibility of tech companies to ensure the safety and well-being of their users. See, that's why I have a right. I'm a third-party member of the public, and these laws are drafted, and they have a duty to the public, including children. So another case to consider is Gonzalez versus Google. The court ruled tech companies must take proactive measures to prevent and report any content that poses a threat to children's lives. So must take proactive measures, including terroristic threats, and so on and so forth. I'll go over this better in another video, but basically this case law is pretty solid. It's why they started taking such a biting tone toward me. Okay. So I wanted to talk also about whistleblower laws, because this is also something, and I've made a small video on it, but so the ACLU, which tend to be sometimes kind of a joke of an organization, let's face it, who get funding and don't do a whole lot sometimes, but then sometimes they do. And you've got to realize that this falls under, civil rights law. When people have a right and be retaliated against or put in harm's way when they are trying to do something about crime. So being a third-party witness to crime can give you certain whistleblower protections via the ACLU. And what they would do potentially for me, and I'm meeting with somebody in my area who will then coordinate with the California one, what they would do is they would write maybe an amicus brief supporting my position, and they could also put me in contact with people who provide resources for protecting whistleblowers, because by now that's what I am basically. And that thing that I alluded to that I've never really touched on regarding safety has not been resolved. So I'll just put it that way. And that adds the first party dynamic to the case, adding to my right to relief, and these whistleblower aspects add to that as well. And it's funny, I never thought about that until now, and I talk about that all the time. I talk about the Boeing case all the time with people, the poor guy that had the good job at Boeing and started realizing that these planes were going to be falling apart and people might die. So he risked his awesome job to get the company to do something, and then they wouldn't do it. So then he went around them and whistleblowed. And then he ended up finally getting to testify, and he killed himself supposedly in the parking lot before he got to give his second day of testimony. So most people don't believe that that's what happened. But nonetheless, I talk about that all the time, and then I don't think of myself as a whistleblower. But when it comes to child sex abuse specifically, and terroristic crime, if you are doing something against either one of those things, you are protected by state law and by other things as well. So talking to them about that, and they can get media involved. That's one thing they're good at, is whipping up some attention on something, and that could put pressure, just enough pressure on them to do something. So I'm trying to do things like that in a roundabout way. You can't guarantee that anybody's going to want to do it or going to care to do it. And you got to realize that these people are kind of, quote unquote, in bed with each other, social media giants and media. So whether they'll step on each other's toes that way, I don't know, but we'll see. And I don't really have much else from that. I just thought it would be easier to shoot a live video, and I picked a weird time of day, and I didn't tell anybody ahead of time very much. So I kind of figured there wouldn't be too much going on here. I'd like to do a stream, on the weekend when people are coming and we could actually talk. I should have some people on as well that have done some really great activism, and you don't have to share your screen. That was my point in that community post that I made. So like, if I know who you are and I've been seeing you for years and you're vetted as an honest supporter of Diane, you wouldn't have to share your screen. But somebody whose intentions I didn't know, that would be very different. And that's about it. I had two other things I was going to touch on, but I think I'll just upload those as videos and cut this really short. So thank you very much for watching. And the next hearing will be April 29th, and we'll be in court. Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on Telegram also. So with this going on and being so involved, I haven't really had a chance to mess with that very much. They have been formally served, but I don't see a response coming in. And there's a possibility that that service wasn't correct, because I used certified mail, and then I saw that with the registered agent, you have to have a person do it. So I sent them, but I don't know if they went to the right one, because there's different ones in the state of Delaware. So I have to check up on that. I haven't received anything saying that it's been dismissed without prejudice or anything like that. But if that were to happen, it's not a big deal. It can be refiled. So I kind of thought I should just focus on the one thing, because let's face it, when I filed this case, I, was hoping we were in the investigative period, and I was naively hoping that they actually were investigating and going to do something, and they would just do something trying to make it be, a way where they don't look like they had to, but they do it because they should, but they weren't even going to do that. So I thought that we would be done with this in December, and then we would be going on to getting Telegram going. So, and then maybe they would follow suit, but that's not how things have gone. So I think it's better to just focus on one thing at a time and refile that later. Or if it's going forward, then we will have time for them to provide their answer and everything, and I'll start hearing from them. But if not, that might be the case with that one. So, and I have kind of things lined up for that I'll be able to present you with later. So there's really not much going on right now until we have that hearing. This was it. And I'll have to make a more comprehensive video about the ins and outs of that reply. Okay, thank you guys. Everybody have a good rest of your week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.